days since my friend Charlie Kirk was executed in front of the world, because that's what it was, a public execution. And call me crazy. Many people do. But I was so clearly deluded in the immediate aftermath of his death that I was operating under this function. I mean, I truly believed.
So sorry, because this is Candace Owens, the words that she's using, you cannot just ignore, okay? There is a purpose, there's a reason. Remember, there's a difference between execution and an assassination, okay? What happened to Charlie Kirk was an assassination, not an execution. Execution is what happens after somebody has been tried and then they execute it. But Candace Owens is saying this on purpose, okay? So don't just dismiss what's coming out of her mouth. It's intention, there's a reason behind it, okay? But we continue.
That I would be fighting for answers to what actually happened on 9/10 alongside Charlie's inner circle. I thought the band maybe was going to get back together. We were all going to maybe be on a group chat. Me, Tyler Boyer, Andrew Colvett, Stacey Sheridan even. If you're wondering who Stacey Sheridan is, by the way, she's the one who's holding the camera when Charlie's casket is being escorted off of Air Force Two. She's like the chief money person, essentially, at Turning Point USA. She was brought in to reel in the big donors. I remember exactly when that happened. All of those people, by the way, were actually brought in by Tyler Boyer. He's a very important character in the story, but we're going to get into all of that tomorrow. The point that I'm making here is that I had assumed, clearly wrongly, that we'd all maybe be on a group chat communicating, raising hell and demanding answers from the feds, from the police, from the White House even. Certainly, at the very least, pointing out the very many holes in this story. And if any one of us had the audacity or the desire to carry on Charlie Kirk's show, that would be the appropriate venue for asking those sorts of questions. But no, I was wrong. Silence. Silence is what we were met with. In fact, I am told that these people believe the official narrative. Lone shooter. No one else involved. Just a crazy guy with too many pronouns in his bio. Hey, 1963 called and they want their narrative back. All that's missing from the story is a grassy knoll, right? Just need a grassy knoll. Anyways, back at headquarters, I am told it's business as usual. And it's kind of giving me like, I don't know, LBJ when he gets sworn in that famous picture. Unfortunately, sworn in. Unfortunately, of course, he's sad in this photo. Gosh, he's obviously not wanting to be the president of the United States. JFK was shot and killed. And now LBJ has to step up, unfortunately. But I gotta be honest, I wasn't there. I don't think LBJ was actually that upset. I don't know why. Vibes. The vibes just aren't vibing for me in that picture, but maybe he was. Maybe the truth is that LBJ simply, to use an expression, had his wits about him. And JFK had a plan, like in the event that he had been horrifically assassinated in front of the world.
So, if you're paying attention, in this case, in this scenario, who is LBJ? Who has taken over Turning Point after Charlie Kirk died? Okay? I'm using the word died because on this platform. Okay? Who took over after Charlie Kirk? Is Erika Kirk. So in this instant, LBJ is Erika Kirk, who happens to be the wife, who happens to be the next of kin. Guys, you don't even have to like Erika Kirk, okay? The fact that she was married to Charlie Kirk, she is the next of kin. There's nothing you can do about it. There is absolutely nothing you can do about it. If the same situation happened to Candace Owens, okay? George Farmer, people always say 250, he is the heir to 250 million. George Farmer's dad is the one who's worth 250 million. I think George Farmer is 70, but be that as it may, okay? So let's say George Farmer, takes over the 250 million, okay? And God forbid something happens to George Farmer. Isn't Candace the right heir to inherit the 250? And now people have to go back. Wait a minute. We knew that Candace Owens was up to no good. After 4, who gets married within 18 days of meeting somebody? Okay? So now George Farmer is gone. George Farmer's dad is gone. Candace Owens stands to inherit 250 million. You see where this is going? So anybody can play the same game that Candace Owens is playing right now. Anybody will be like, yeah, wait a minute, exactly. Who gets married within 18 days of meeting somebody? Okay? And across the pond, England and US, right? But you get the point. So now, she is not happy. She doesn't want, but you got to give, she hasn't mentioned Erika Kirk's name. But by implication, Erika Kirk is implicated in all this, okay? Because she is demanding war And she's saying that Turning Point USA is not doing anything. Who is in charge of Turning Point USA? So she is saying that Erika Kirk is not doing anything. And now Erika Kirk is JBF. Oh, I'm like, okay. So let's hear her, what she's saying. Maybe she's going to produce evidence. So let's watch.
JFK maybe had a succession plan. Now, if these terms I'm using here sound familiar to you, it's because they should sound familiar. It's the exact terminology that was utilized by Pastor Rob McCoy just 4 days after Charlie was murdered. In front of his congregation, he spoke about Charlie's succession plan that he was somehow privy to. I don't know why, but he knew 4 days later and announced to the world that Charlie indeed had a plan. Take a listen.
Everyone's worried about the leadership of TPUSA. Don't. He was wise enough at 31 to put together a plan for succession. It's very clear what they decided, and they're implementing it now.
Amazing. I mean, amazing. So on September 14th, we were made aware of this succession plan, and I find that to be fascinating. The people who didn't even know Charlie all around the world seem to be fighting harder for him, fighting harder for truth.
Candace Owens, she's not happy that Charlie Kirk had a succession plan. And why wouldn't you not be happy that Charlie had a succession plan? He had a big organization. He has a wife. He has kids. So is that a strange thing for him to have put things in place? What's wrong with that? So are we to say right now that George Farmer doesn't have a plan for his household? That Englishman doesn't have plan for his household if, lo and behold, something happens to him? So now are we going to be questioning? Like, no. Who has a succession plan? He has 4 kids and a wife. He shouldn't have any succession plan. He shouldn't put anything else in place. What's wrong with having a succession plan? And what does a succession plan prove? If anything, the person who has taken over is Erika Kirk, who happens to be the wife of Charlie Kirk. She's the widow of Charlie Kirk. So would it have made any difference if it wasn't Erika Kirk, somebody else? Are you honestly telling me that Candace Owens would be fine with it? So if she's not happy that Erika Kirk has taken over Turning Point USA, who does she want? Honestly, who does she want? So believe it or not, this woman, she has derided herself. She honestly, truly believes that she is the one who was supposed to be in place of Erika Kirk. Like Charlie's gone, the person to succeed Turning Point had to be Candace Owens. Do I need to remind you guys that, remember, she worked for Turning Point. After Turning Point, she went to PragerU. After PragerU, she went to Daily Wire. Now she's here. So even if, let's just grant that, okay, maybe Charlie wanted to leave Candace Owens. Does that make sense to you? After Prager, after Daily Wire, all these years, then Charlie Kirk will be like, you know what, I'm leaving Turning Point to Candace Owens. Hey, oh man, you cannot make this stuff up. You absolutely cannot make this stuff up. So yes, this is her bringing war pretty much to the doorstep of Erika Kirk. She is actually daring Erika Kirk to respond, to say something. At this point, Mrs. Kirk, just keep quiet. I know it hurts, but at this point, just keep quiet. Because I had 2 theories, okay? Before I was like, you know what? The stuff that Candace Owens is doing, either Erika Kirk is behind all this, that way, Candace is her spokeswoman, or she completely hates this. So at this point, no way. There is no way she can be behind what Candace Owens is doing. Because to me, that's the only thing that actually would make sense. Like, okay, the audacity of a married woman to be doing this about someone else's husband, I'm sorry, it's beyond me. This is none of her business, okay? She's gone way too far. It's beyond investigation. It's very disrespectful. It's absolutely disrespectful. If you didn't know Candace Owens or Erika Kirk, like you just came on the scene right now, you'd actually think she's the ex-wife, or you actually think like, Candace Owens is actually the widow. Honestly, I'm like, no, this is too much. Absolutely too much. That after Charlie, she expected that she was going to be in the group chat, in the inner circle, to be dissecting to see what happened to Charlie Kirk. Why should she be on the chat? Why? Why would she be included in the chat? She wasn't working for Turning Point USA. Why would she be in the chat? And how does she know that the chat doesn't exist? Huh? How does she know that the chat doesn't exist? Okay, like we saw, there were the chat messages that came out. Pastor Rob McCoy was on the chat. Candace Owens wasn't on the chat, okay? And she has come after, she's coming after Rob McCoy. Josh Hammer was on the chat, and, she's also coming after Josh Hammer, okay? So, no. If they wanted her to be on the chat, she would have been on the chat, but she wasn't. And why should she be on the chat? To me, I don't get it. Why is Candace Owens demanding that after the incident of Charlie Kirk, that she should have been on the group chat to find out, to be in the know, to be in the inner circle? Why? You were not in the inner circle to begin with. Why should you be in the inner circle? Are you Erika Kirk's best friend? Like, does that even, to me, I'm like, the audacity, what she's demanding, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Okay? No. You are not entitled to be in the inner circle of what was going on or what's going on right now. Okay? You continue with your investigation. That's all she should be doing. Yes, because I don't understand why she feels so entitled that she had to be in the chat. Like who? I mean, unless maybe we're missing something. Is there a marriage certificate out there that's listing Candace Owens as the second wife to Charlie Kirk? Maybe there is one. Okay, if that's the case, hey, I stand corrected, Mrs. Farmer. I was under impression that you are Mrs. Farmer. What's happening? We need to know out here. She's demanding. Would she allow other people to demand the same thing if the situation was reversed?